Was a hot summer afternoon when Daniel drove down the crowded streets of the city. The traffic was suffocating, and the horns blared like an endless orchestra of impatience. Sweat trickled down his forehead as the air conditioner struggled against the scorching heat. He tapped his fingers against the steering wheel, his mind already lost in thoughts of work deadlines and unfinished projects. As the traffic light turned red, his car rolled to a stop. He sighed, glanced at his phone on the dashboard, and then leaned back, rubbing his tired eyes. That's when he noticed her. A woman, thin and frail, stood near the sidewalk. Her clothes were torn, her face smudged with dirt, and her hair tangled into knots. She looked like countless beggars he had seen before, the kind most people ignore without a second glance. She carried a small plastic cup in her hand, shaking it faintly as she walked past the stopped cars, her voice weak as she muttered for help. Daniel shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He wasn't the type to hand money to beggars. He had always believed most of them were part of a scam, pretending to be poor while someone else collected their earnings. But something about her face caught his attention, even from a distance. Her eyes held a sadness deeper than simple hunger. There was pain in them, an old pain that seemed to whisper of stories untold. She reached his car. Daniel avoided eye contact at first, pretending to fiddle with the radio, hoping she would move on. But then, almost against his will, he turned his head and looked directly at her. The world seemed to stop. His breath caught in his throat. His eyes widened. He froze, unable to move, unable to speak. Because he knew that face. It was impossible, it couldn't be true. Yet there she was, standing before him, this woman who looked like a ghost pulled straight out of his past. The woman's lips trembled as her eyes met his. For a moment, her expression mirrored his shock. Her hand shook harder, the cup rattling as coins clinked inside. Daniel's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Memories he had buried deep within himself surged to the surface like waves crashing against rocks. The traffic light turned green, and impatient horns blared behind him. But Daniel couldn't move, he couldn't drive away. He rolled his window down slowly, his heart pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. Is it really you? He whispered, his voice barely audible. The woman blinked rapidly, tears welling in her eyes. For a second, she seemed unsure whether to answer or to walk away. But then she leaned closer, her lips forming words that sent a chill down his spine. Yes, Daniel, it's me. His entire body went numb. He felt like the air had been sucked out of the world. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but none could leave his lips. The horns behind him grew louder, and a car swerved past, the driver yelling angrily. Forced by the flow of traffic, Daniel pulled his car to the side of the road and parked, his hands trembling. He opened the door and stepped out, his legs weak beneath him. The woman hesitated but then slowly approached. Up close, the truth was undeniable. Her face, though thin and worn by hardship, still carried the familiar features he could never forget. Emma, he breathed. Her name felt foreign on his tongue, like a word he hadn't spoken in years. Yet saying it broke something inside him. Emma nodded slowly, a tear slipping down her cheek. It's been a long time. Daniel's heart twisted. He hadn't seen her in almost 15 years. Emma, his childhood friend, his high school sweetheart, the girl who once meant the world to him. The girl who had vanished without a trace. He remembered the last time he had seen her. It was their final year of school. They had promised to chase their dreams together, to never let the world tear them apart. But one day, she simply disappeared. No goodbye, no explanation. Her phone was disconnected, her house empty. Rumors swirled. Some said her family moved away, others whispered darker things. Daniel searched for months, but eventually, he gave up, telling himself she was gone forever. And now, here she was, begging on the street. Daniel swallowed hard, his voice cracking. What happened to you? Emma looked away, ashamed. Life happened. Her words were heavy, weighted with secrets he couldn't yet see. She clutched her tattered shawl tighter around her shoulders, as if trying to hide from his gaze. Daniel glanced around. People on the sidewalk stared at them with curiosity, while cars rushed past, their drivers uninterested in the reunion unfolding before them. He couldn't let this conversation happen here, in the middle of chaos. Come with me, he said firmly. We need to talk. Emma hesitated, biting her lip. I don't think. Please, Daniel interrupted, his eyes pleading. At least for old time's sake. After a long silence, Emma finally nodded. He opened the car door for her, and she stepped inside cautiously, as if she didn't belong in a place so clean and comfortable. Daniel sat in the driver's seat, his mind racing. He started the engine, but for a moment, he didn't drive. He just stared at her, trying to reconcile the image before him with the memories in his heart. The Emma he remembered had been full of life, with laughter that could brighten even the darkest days. She had dreamed of becoming an artist, always carrying a sketchbook filled with drawings of their town, of people, of their shared moments. She had been fearless, stubborn, and full of hope. Now, the woman beside him looked like a shadow of that girl. Her hands were scarred, her nails broken, her skin pale and thin. Yet her eyes, though dimmed by suffering, still carried the spark he knew so well. Daniel pulled away from the curb and drove in silence. He didn't know where to go, only that he needed answers. Finally, he spoke. "Tell me everything." Emma stared out the window, her reflection trembling against the glass. She didn't answer right away. The silence stretched, thick and unbearable, until finally she let out a shaky breath. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me," Daniel replied, his voice steady despite the storm raging inside him. Emma closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, they glistened with tears. "It all started the night I disappeared.